if you took brain scans of porn addict just picking up his phone, you'd start to see the excitement. You'd see the wave of excitement rise up in him, knowing I'm about to get my drug of choice.
Yeah. And I think that speaks to kind of the um, addiction to technology, and ADHD, right? I mean, like, just the link, because they theorize that with people with ADHD, there's a lack of dopamine production. And so when I look kind of at my story, not to give you an out, but it's like, and once I started doing drugs, I'm like, "Oh, I feel great." And then it's just like, if you have that compulsion, and it's just like, then you're just living, sleeping, breathing to feed that. And then all the things that you know about life and about yourself and about doing the right thing and being disciplined. I mean, like, it was such a bizarre lifestyle. I was doing drugs, but I'd go to the gym, eat skinless chicken, work out 2.5 hours a week, 2.5 hours a day, and then go do drugs 4 hours a night and then repeat and do the same thing. Why am I eating skinless chicken and cottage cheese when I'm like destroying my body? It's just like, it's just very dysfunctional. But it's just with technology now, it's like, we're working with athletes now. I'm a cross country coach for my kids' team, and I just love coaching. And I'm like, you've got to produce your own highs in a healthy way, right? But society, like, they get the artificial highs.
I'm writing that down.
But you got to earn it, as Jason said earlier. And anything can be like, I'm probably an exercise addict if you were to ask my wife, although I've dialed it down a little bit. But it's like getting your master's degree produces a natural high, accomplishing things, serving people, going out on the street and serving the poor creates a natural high. That's a God-given high. You earned it. You earned it. Scrolling on your phone, you didn't earn it. And that's it. Again, it's not like evil per se. But the things that we artificially manufacture, in a sense, playing video games all day. I mean, maybe there's some value of connecting. But I see that in somebody that I know. I wouldn't want to say his name because he'd get upset, but be like a great kid and do the right thing. But then when it comes to technology, lie, steal, cheat, manipulate, look you right in the face and say, I didn't do it, because he's got to get to the game. You see a lot of kids with ADHD kids in general love video games, but kids I work with ADHD, man, it's like, or autism, man, that video game thing, it's like real, like a real deal, because it's feeding their brain what it wants, and it can get obviously a little bit out of control.
And if you do have faith and you're a Christian, when you put something in the place of God, whether it's technology, whether it's your phone, and it's impacting your life in a negative way. And it's funny, because when I get people, you don't want to do couples. So
No way. Oh, instead of that, Jason. No, I don't do that. I don't couple. Dude, I did one couples thing. Oh my gosh. And they weren't even married. I never did that in my internship. I said, no, no, no. And then I just started new, and Billy's like, I have this guy, he's got a girlfriend. You want to do it? And I'm like, sure. Well, they weren't married. The guy was Jewish. The girl was Christian. He was secretly seeing a man that he was actually married to. She didn't know he was married to him for tax. Dude, and talk about like an absolute disaster. I'm like, all this comes out, but the girl doesn't know about this. Oh my gosh. I'm like, one and done, man. One and done, like a basketball superstar in college. One and done.
Are you just like, it's just too much? Like, you'd rather just, like, you need to hone in on like one person? Is that what it is?
I mean, at least I should have actually took somebody that was actually married.
Yeah.
And so God has a sense of humor, right? So God was telling me in that space, this ain't your lane, bro. Stay in your lane.
well, marriage doesn't mean it's any less messed up. It's probably more messed up when you get to it, but
Jason over here gets excited because he gets to ping pong.
yeah, it's great for ADD because, you can, and I always say ADD is my superpower. And I know it's all ADHD now, but I'm old and I have ADD. So
You're right though, because I had a mom last night be like, "Oh, I thought ADHD was just," because I was maybe suggesting someone in her family has the ADHD tendencies, and she's like, "Yeah, but he's not hyperactive." I'm like, "He doesn't have to be hyperactive. He could be a total space cadet." She's like, "But it's called ADHD." I'm like, "Well,
it's simplification for the DS.
it can be a little bit confusing for people.
That book's too thick anyways.
You don't have to be you don't have to be hyperactive to have ADHD."
And they did the same with autism, got rid of Asperger's and all the other designations just to make it easier for us and psychologists. But yeah, couples are fun. I really enjoy it. But how many new clients? So say you get 30 new clients. How many of them do you think are struggling with porn? Would you say?
that I know about, because there's the ones you know about, and then the ones that I'm sure there's a lot that I work with that just don't bring it up, you know? So, I would say the ones I work with for guys, oh man, I'd have to trim, I mean, over 50%, over 50%. I'd say maybe somewhere from like 55 to 65%.
Do you ask them directly in your intake? Do you use porn?
I addictions. Do you have any current or past addictions?
Most people don't classify porn as an addiction.
That's what me and my wife were talking about, and that was like a big conversation at the dinner table was, do you even like if, for instance, I have a friend that needs help. I'm literally going to fly to his city tonight to spend time with him because I found out he's struggling with depression and anxiety. And I was talking to my wife, I was like, I want to ask him, like, are you addicted to porn? Because that's something I know him well enough that he wouldn't necessarily talk about to his small support system he has now, which is just his family. I'm like his first friend to find out he's like struggling. And Ariana was like, I don't think you should say addicted. Like, that's just so abrasive. Like, you should just say, do you watch porn? Because she's like, it doesn't matter what level of porn that you watch or how often, it's just not good in general. So, should you label it addiction? And she's like, I think you should delete that from your vocab. I wanted to see what your guys' thought was on that.
Yeah, that would make sense. Maybe that's a little bit less offensive to somebody. You could just say, do you struggle with porn, or do you watch porn, or have you watched porn? Or maybe that's something I'll change in my intake form. I mean, a lot of guys come in like that's their thing they want to work on. But yeah, that's something I've asked directly.
Her argument was like, is any level okay? And then she's like, not really. It's not going to help you at all. So, why even? Addiction just makes it feel like it's only if you're abusing it.
Yeah, and I wouldn't. One, you're not a counselor, so you don't want to get in the labeling business, and even it's very specific what it has to be classified as an addiction based on the DSM. But just say, hey, I just want to explore some of the areas that you might be struggling in. Do you do you go to shopping when you don't feel good? Do you go to and you can be gentle about it.
Mm.
Because food is one of them. If I don't feel good, I go to food. And then you can work your way into porn. Video games. Tell me about your video game use. How often are you using them? And just make it part of a conversation versus. And I was and the Addicted to the Monkey Mind. It said we react as though somebody's judging us when they ask us about something we're already struggling with. And I thought that was one of the coolest and most profound things, is because, like, if Angel says, "Hey, do you do this?" and I forget to do it, I'm immediately defensive. Why? Because that's something I already struggle with inside that I've let her down. I'm not good enough. I'm not enough for her. I immediately become defensive when she asks me, "Did you do that?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, I was busy. I mean, a client called. I mean," it's just a natural reaction, but that's because of the core beliefs I have inside of myself that I'm not enough, and that I'm a failure, and that I'll never be good enough for Angel. And so it's amazing, because if you're ask somebody, "Oh, do you watch porn?" and they know they're struggling with it, or "Are you addicted to porn?" They're like, "No, I mean, that's just stupid. Why would you ask me that? I mean, what do you see it on my face?" I mean, it's like instantly get defensive, but it's more when it's just that general conversation. And if you see somebody getting defensive, disarm that and say, "Man, I'm not judging you. I just want to understand. And dude, I just want to talk with you." And you can always use every man's in a battle that we know nothing about. And I tell my clients, I go, the cool part of my job is I get to hear your battle. And so it's not the isolation of I'm struggling. We're all struggling with something.
Yeah.